A wake-up we'll never forget.
Repeat. The U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile threat to Hawaii.
The words, "This is not a drill," burned into our phones.
People literally ran to find cover, hiding in basements, huddling in closets. One family climbed into a sewer hole.
We were obviously very scared. We have 2 little girls.
My wife was in tears and didn't know what to do.
So I'm just looking around thinking like where do we go?
All this fear for a false alarm. Confirmation trickled out on social media, followed by an official correction and a stunning revelation.
An employee pushed the wrong button.
It came down to a person pushing the wrong button.
That was not funny at all. The guy had one job, right, and he messed up.
Now the FCC is vowing a full investigation, and state lawmakers are demanding answers.
I've spoken with some House colleagues this morning, and they are just as outraged.
Tonight, in-depth team coverage on the missile alert mistake.
It is a defining moment for the Ige administration. The governor has apologized for the initial mistake and the slow response to ease the fear.
Leaders say the false alarm was caused by a longtime employee at the state's emergency management agency.
Again, it's a human error. There is a screen that says, are you sure you want to do this? Okay, again, that's already in place. Now, we had one person, human error, and that thing was pushed anyway.
We have live team coverage tonight. Our Jobeth DeVera is in Waikiki. Ben Gutierrez is at the state's Emergency Management Center.
But we begin with Lisa Kubota and the timeline on this monumental mistake. Lisa.
Keahi's death 3 minutes after the warning, the Adjutant General confirmed with the U.S. Pacific Command that there was no threat. Another 10 minutes after that, the state turned to social media to get the word out. But it took 38 minutes for a cancellation through a civil emergency message to cell phones and over the airwaves.
This is not a drill.
At 8:07 a.m., the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency sent out the initial alert warning that a ballistic missile was inbound to Hawaii.
A missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill.
So people just started scurrying around, trying to get into bathrooms. And I was with my 2 little girls who are 8 and 10. So kids are crying and nobody really knew what to do.
At 8:19, Hawaii News Now sent out a push notification saying that it was a false alarm. At 8:20, the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency issued a cancellation notice via Facebook and Twitter. It wasn't until 8:45 that the state sent out another emergency alert to cell phones and over the airwaves, confirming that there was no danger to the state.
What I don't understand is why we couldn't immediately have a system set up that said all clear, false alarm, something like that.
During those 38 minutes between the civil emergency messages, some folks climbed into manholes to take shelter. You can see adults putting children underground. Over at the Pearl Harbor Visitor Center, people were told to stay in the theater while watching a video of the 1941 bombing.
I was the one to stand up and tell the hundreds of people in there that it was a mistake. I mean, and everyone's like, what? What do you mean? And some people were like crying at that point or like calling their loved ones and saying goodbye.
At the Foodland in Pupukea, workers moved shoppers into the store's basement and locked the doors. Customers said people were anxiously calling and texting until the all clear. The state says there was no automated way to send a false alarm notification. Employees had to use a manual process, which took a while. The Hawaii Emergency Management Agency says it's drafting a cancellation message, so if this ever happens again, it can get the word out faster. Lisa Kubota, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Lisa. State lawmakers have already scheduled a hearing for Friday to figure out what went wrong and who was involved. One of the obvious problems is that a single person was responsible for sending out the alert. Mileka Lincoln continues our team coverage.
The bottom line from the governor and state officials is that they deeply regret this mistake was made. Safeguards are now in place to prevent a false alarm from ever happening again, but that the threat to Hawaii is very real and residents should be prepared.
What happened today was totally unacceptable, and many in our community was deeply affected by this, and I'm sorry for that pain and confusion that anyone might have experienced.
A somber apology from the governor as state officials admitted human error was to blame for the false ballistic missile threat alert and the nearly 40 minutes it took for a correction to be issued.
There was no automated way to send a false alarm cancellation. We had to initiate a manual process, and that was why it took a while to notify everyone.
The mistake happened during a routine test during a shift change at the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency in Diamond Head. Officials confirm an employee erroneously sent the warning, which is disseminated to mobile devices across the state, by initially clicking the wrong option during the test, then confirming a subsequent prompt that distributed the mass alert.
There is a screen that says, are you sure you want to do this? Okay, again, that's already in place. Now, we had one person, human error, and that thing was pushed anyway.
The employee reportedly didn't realize his mistake until he received the emergency alert on his own device. Officials wouldn't say if the employee will be suspended or relieved of his duties, though they did confirm everyone will receive counseling and retraining. As an immediate safeguard to prevent another false alarm, the test the state was conducting has been put on hold, and a future alert will require 2 people.
I apologize for this. This is my responsibility, my team. But please keep in mind that, again, the threat is there. If this comes out, you're going to have only about 12 to 13 minutes of warning for an actual event, and please take this to heart.
Officials say it's imperative that the public's takeaway from this mistake is that they do need to be prepared. The governor says if it had been a real threat, the state siren system would have been activated. They're now investigating reports that some sirens did sound near military bases.
The sirens should not have gone off. It was not part of this test.
Officials are also looking into why some mobile carriers never received the mass warning alert that was mistakenly released.
We want the people to know that we are disappointed and angry that this happened. We do know that everyone on the island was affected in some way. We understand that. We are committed to providing the public with a good notification system.
Officials tell us they have launched an investigation, and a thorough written report explaining exactly what happened today is expected in the coming weeks. Reporting live from the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency here at Diamond Head, Mileka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
Mileka, thank you. In the wake of the false alarm, the city says it also needs to do a better job of communicating with the public, especially since Honolulu police knew within minutes the alert was not real. Ben Gutierrez is live from the city's Department of Emergency Management in the Fosse building. Ben?
Yeah, mahalo, Keahi. That turns out to be true. According to Honolulu Police Chief Susan Ballard, HPD has a hotline to the state warning point system, which is where the alerts are issued. Now, they made a call on the hotline and got word that the false alarm, that the alert was false just 3 minutes after it happened, and they tried to get the word out as quickly as they could. Now, that came out in a press conference involving several city departments and first responders, officials saying they reacted as if the threat was real at first. HPD said it knew it was a false alarm, but was not able to give a wide-ranging all clear. Despite that, the police chief said officers went out and notified as many people as they could using bullhorns in Waikiki and other areas of Oahu.
At that point in time, we contacted them and we were able to confirm that it was a false alarm. Because it was activated by the state, we were allowing the state to come out with the information about it being a false alarm.
We have to look at better public communication, and we believe that's where we really didn't do a good enough job.
City officials say there were no reports of any injuries or medical problems because of the anxiety and concern of the alert. Now, those levels of anxiety and concern are also pretty high here at Honolulu Hale and the Emergency Services Department. Now, the fire department also reported that many people went to fire stations in order to seek shelter. Ocean safety officials were able to clear beaches, and as you may imagine, thousands of people called 911. All of this will be reviewed by city officials to try to improve improve the emergency response. Reporting live from the City Emergency Management Center, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Ben. People need to feel a sense of urgency about fixing this. That from Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz, who called Governor Ige after the alert first went out. Schatz says he urged the governor to notify the public immediately that it was a false alarm. Senator Mazie Hirono and Representative Colleen Hanabusa say they will fight to make sure this doesn't happen again.
How could you press a button like that? You know, I mean, people have made fun of the president and Kim Jong-un about having buttons that they can press. We have a button that apparently set this whole thing up.
I know that that we're going to be taking the necessary steps to find out exactly what happened, to make sure that it never happens again and that people get the kind of warning that they should get.
Representative Tulsi Gabbard tweeted, the people of Hawaii should have never had to go through this. She's also urging peace talks with North Korea.
Hawaii tourism leaders are hoping today's bad publicity doesn't hurt the industry. In Waikiki, thousands of visitors and Kama'aina were panic-stricken. Our Jo Beth DeVera is live on Kuhio Beach, where hotels tried to protect guests and keep them calm. Jo Beth?
Mahalo Keahi. Yes, it's back to business as usual here in Waikiki. You can see just how packed the beach is, with people just trying to enjoy the sun and the surf and unwind and the rest of their vacation as well after a stressful morning following the false alarm when this busy tourist destination became a potential target.
Cell phone video captured frantic hotel guests packed the lobby at Aqua Ohia in Waikiki after they received this emergency alert on their phones at 8:07 a.m.
There were people crying. You could see people were really frightened. I sent a message to my grandkids at home, and it made me realize, my God, I could have never seen them again.
At the Hilton Garden Inn, staff tried to keep guests calm.
This lobby was full with probably, I don't know, maybe 100 people just asking questions, from the phone operations to the front desk, even at the doors. We posted up at every door.
It's hard to stay calm when you don't know what's happening. We kept looking out the window in case we saw something.
Alton Davis was staying at the Waikiki Gateway Hotel and says he took an Uber to the airport to try and catch the next flight out back to California.
Immediately notified the hotel that I wanted to check out and head to the airport because I didn't want to stick around to see if this place was going to get blown up or not.
For 38 minutes, visitors and locals alike went into panic mode until state emergency officials finally issued a second alert saying the missile threat was a false alarm. Clearly, it was a serious wake-up call.
I was sick to my stomach for at least 2 hours afterwards. I was shaking, and it was scary, very scary.
And though a false alarm, hotel staff tell me this was a good learning experience. And now is a time to reflect and take a closer look at their protocols in place when it comes to emergencies. Reporting live tonight from Waikiki, Jo Beth DeVera, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you very much, Jo Beth. And our coverage on the missile alert mistake continues.